Hi, this is Naomi with Sword and Steel, and today I thought I'd do one of my SPQR miniatures, a Roman Legionnaire. Yeah, this one's just one of the regular grunts, and I'm going to be painting him after the Rome series that they did a while back. There's a picture there of what it'll be, so I'm thinking an old gold for all the gold, and you know that dark yellow tan color for his tunic, and the brand, basically everything that you see there. That is what I'm going to try and mimic on the miniature. And now in the series you had for the shields you had dark brown, very bit dented and roughed up dark brown shields with the symbols on the front for their shields. Well, I'm going to add a bit more red than they would have, than they had in the movie, just so you get a more iconic, because this guy isn't going to actually have much red other than his shield. After assembling him, I immediately went ahead and put his ground texture by Vallejo rough white pumice on his base, and then after that dried, we went ahead and sprayed him with Wraithbone spray by Citadel, which is ideal for using contrast paints on. Right, and these bottles are Vallejo mixing bottles, but with contrast paint in it so that I don't spill it all over the place. And whenever you hear that, that's my army painter mixing ball going ahead. Lots of questions, and now I have a video on it, and you can see the video in the description. Alright, continuing on. So he's got the white pumice right underneath the white, the Wraithbone spray, because there weren't a texture paint that I particularly wanted. I wanted to be dull sand, which there's a nice bright yellow sand, but I want a dull whitish sand, so I'm going to do that one myself after the rest of him is done. So the very first thing I think I shall do is paint him up. I paint his skin up. I like to do the skin first, and I want him to be tan, so I'm choosing to use Citadel Contrast Fyreslayer Flesh. I'm going to hit him with the Fyreslayer Flesh. Oh, that's very brown. That's fine. It's going to be very tan. And I'm just going to do all of his flesh that way. And there he is with his flesh all done. Oh, he is not having it. This is not his day, he says. I enjoy his character. Alright. Now, that done, let's get, so, for his cloak, so the majority of him is not going to be red of the Roman, because, you know, he's just a little legionnaire, so he's got an old stained shirt, and I'm going to go Zandri Dust with a highlight of Elfic Flesh by Vallejo. Now, this is a base, so it's a bit thicker. I want it to be thinner, so I'll just take some out and thin it down a bit. So it should go on nice and smoothly. And that's just going on his tunic. think the next thing we should do is all the steel bits. So chainmail, gladius, yeah, pilum, all the steel bits. And I will be using Vallejo Metal Color Airbrush Steel for that. This is such a tiny model that I think I'm just gonna stick with everything being painted by my Kolinsky Masterclass BR7017 because it's such an itty bitty model. I'm choosing an airbrush metal. Well, I really like these metals, but particularly they're so thin that chainmail, well, hopefully, I'd be worried that the chainmail would lose some of its definition if you used a thicker metal. I mean, you'd thin it down with water naturally, but this takes that step out. So there's he is with his metal done. Well, his steel. Now onto his bronze, which is actually going to be this old gold, or bronze, brass, whatever is in that picture. I think this old gold is the right color. Very nice color, isn't it? And I think with some Recklin Flesh shade over top of it, it shall be perfect. So all over his helmet and the rim of his shield. As you can see, I did up his shield with the color I wanted, just so it would be dry so I could start doing the transfer process. So I'll just now I'm going to put on the first part of the transfer process, and in the meantime, while that's drying, I'll show you what I did using this guy's shield. I took contrast paint Wyldwood by Citadel and heavy red extra opaque game by Vallejo. It's just a a darker red. Gave them a pretty even mix. More of that Wyldwood than the initially more of the Wyldwood than the red, and carefully put that on my shield. And while that's still wet, mix now mostly red with some Wyldwood mix, and spot the red in there. I want this to look like an old red shield, but yeah, spot the red in there. Don't want that to look to be uniform because it's supposed to be a red, a deep red that has gotten a lot of use. Alright, And that, what I did with the shield, and left it to dry. Alright, so the first part, to put his lovely little shield transfer on, need to get this transfer all nice and wet. Just use one lot of air, so let that get nice and wet. And now I'm going to use a gloss varnish. This one is a Vallejo gloss varnish, but any gloss varnish seems to work just fine. I just found this one first. And wherever this transfer is going to go, I'll just put on a layer of gloss varnish. Alright, now, while that's continuing to dry, we are going to get all that leather, and we're going to use a Citadel Base Steel Legion Drab. Darken it down a bit with the Wyldwood red mix. We'll try that. And for this particular one, I would absolutely be using a wet palette if I was doing more than one at the same time. And I'm also going to paint the back of his shield, but using a bit more Wyldwood to make it more in shadow. So leather, back of his shield, because I looked it up, and they definitely would have had leather all over their shield, and I figure the front will be painted red, and they'll just leave the back dark leather. It's my intention. And I also determined that their hilts for their gladius are probably a wood, so you know, just to make it different from the leather, brown leather, I'm gonna do it a light wood of some kind. But first, time to get this guy on the go. Okay. Come here. These transfers are just a teeny bit too long for this particular shield. But I think I'm good with that. Once we have them where we want them, which is we will put on more gloss varnish to seal them in. And wait till that to dry. Wait for that to dry before we do anything else. Well, do anything else on the shield. Don't think we want it glossy like that. But I'm going to put a wash, I think Reckland Flesh Shade over everything. So that should get rid of most of this gloss effect. Okay, and now get that wood on. I'm thinking I'm going to use this Citadel Flesh. Just water it down mildly for ease of use. Let's see what it looks like once I have it on here. I think with a wash, not Reckland Flesh Shade, but Agrax Earthshade wash will do it just fine. It'll look like a nice, light hardwood. Or softwood or wood. I saw a picture of replica of what one would look like, so I know what I'm going for anyway. One of the light colored woods. Next, I think we can do this sand. And I think I'm gonna use this. This is Elf Flesh by Vallejo, a game color, and I'm going to turn it into a contrast of sorts by using the contrast medium. Really, it's not going to do that, but it's a good way to thin it out. So basically, a drop of the elfic flesh, a drop of the contrast medium, and just see what that's like. Yeah, we're gonna need some kind of shadow, I think. So, very complex mix since I winged it, but it is. Now, so I don't have to touch his west base, I put him on the thing that I'm supposed to be using anyway, which I keep forgetting. Alright. Wait longer than you think it should take for the transfers to dry, and then they'll definitely be dry. Alright. Now it's time for Reckland Flesh Shade. Or should it be Agrax Earthshade? Let's have a look. What's that color? Yeah, let's try it. Taking my base brush and coating everything mildly with Agrax Earthshade. Except for his face. And his skin. Yeah, I'm leaving the skin alone. Just all of his stuff. I don't want him to look dirty, so I can't let it pool very much. I mean, not too dirty. Gulls are going to be the dirty ones, so these guys got to be cleaner. Just letting it color everything. Now I have to let him dry and not touch him. Wait for him to dry before I do anything else. Alright, that is what he looks like when he is all dry. Now, so as you can see, I'm going to need to put a matte varnish on his shield. But the last thing I'm going to do is dry brush the sand with that elfic flesh that I used. I'm going to dry brush a little bit here and there, a mixture of the gold and a chrome. I think 2-to-1 mixture of the gold and the chrome to do a little bit of dry brushing to highlight any of the gold areas, and I'll just use some duraluminum on all of the steel pieces, and that should be it. Thank you for joining me in painting this guy. I very much enjoy him. And do you see his facial expression? I have enjoyed it all through painting him. He is done. He is ready to battle. No more painting. Let's get to it, he says. Just look at that. Best expression ever of a soldier. That's awesome. And I guess I will be painting all the rest of them basically the same, though their leader, Centurion, I guess it might be a higher rank than that, but those guys will have more red on them to show their high quality robes in comparison, and then the Gauls will be a mishmash of Gallic wear. Well, if you liked the video, give us a like, and if you'd like to see more Paint With Me's, I will attempt to get that on a more regular basis. And other wargaming materials, subscribe to our channel and hit that bell notification so you can find out as soon as we put out our next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!